So we're gonna start off like this. Sagafe, Komoye, Mazirs, Mademoiselles, Untalez-vous, um, to Monsieur Macron, merci beaucoup. Um, yeah, we're gonna do it like that. I wanted to say that pay homage to the French people. You guys are really taking a big stand now. What you can do to really lead the world. I ain't gonna. I gotta point this out real quick before I give you your full flowers. But I'm giving you your flowers. What you can do to truly lead the world is to pay Haiti restitution and the African countries that you exploited, like Senegal, Burkina Faso, and a couple more. You can go ahead and shoot them their cash and build a big alliance, and you can lead the world because France. I guess it's easy for people to forget France is a world power. I recently discovered like France got like less than 60 million people, something like that. And I was like, damn, that's it. I thought like they would have had like I thought there was always a country like us, like with hundreds of millions of people. But they're a world power and they've been around. They help America get its freedom. And so for France to be the big brother, because France is the big brother, they've been around longer than us. For them to take the lead and say, you know what, we're not gonna do the little, not gonna follow this American bought out proxy stuff. We're gonna take the lead. We're gonna recognize Palestine as a country. You know, I follow Candace Owens and stuff like that. Like I watch her. I don't follow nobody, but I like a lot of stuff she say. And I was on the whole questioning of who his wife is supposed to be. But at this point, as I get to try to break down the construct of this world, it don't matter who his wife is. I don't give a damn if his wife was RuPaul. Are you a great leader? Like why am I concerned? Like, and then I say this respectfully to Candace Owens because now she got a new agenda, and I respect the new agenda. The new agenda is trying to find out who's behind Charlie Kirk assassination. I think we all know. I agree with Candace Owens who's behind it or who's ultimately behind it. But that ain't what it's about. What it's about is I don't give a damn who you fucking in your bed. Like Dwight Howard said when they was asking. I think women, and this is when I jump off the ship a little bit, but I gotta jump off the ship. Women, white and black, not even white, I just think black, but let's just say it was white. Be concerned about who a man got in his bed. Be concerned about what you doing and what you got going on behind the scenes. Because at the end of the day, we got these so-called heterosexual leaders, and I don't believe none of them is heterosexual. If you ask me, what kind of man go sit in a sauna? The whole ideal of a sauna is gay. You're sitting in there sweaty as hell in the towel, and that's some rich white man shit. Sitting in the towel, fucking half naked with no drawers on, sweating with a bunch of other motherfuckers. What the hell is that? But that's neither here or there, right? My point that I'm making is who you marry don't got nothing to do with your politics. I want to know your politics. So I want to give a shout out to Emmanuel Macron for taking the lead. Like, and he gonna restore faith in France, and I'm gonna look at France in something a totally different light because I never looked at France in a good light in all of my X amount of years. I want to start acting like I'm a young dude, so I ain't gonna say how long I've been living, but my point that I'm making is for him to take the lead and recognize Palestine as a country, and along with the other nations around the world, it furthermore does two things. Not only does it show how evil the country of Israel is, but it also shows how used and abused and neglected America is. And ultimately, not how evil Americans are, but how evil and corrupted American politicians are. So it's because you look stupid when the whole world is saying, hey, man, Israel wrong. And then America is the last one standing talking about, oh, nah, whatever they do. And you know what's so crazy about these people? Like I said, ain't none of our leaders know the Bible. We never, I can, the closest religious leader we ever had in America was Jimmy Carter. It's not even close. Jimmy Carter was the most religious president, stood on business. Did you know little old peanut farmer Jimmy Carter, when he died, which was recently, he lived in a house less than $200,000, and it only was worth 200,000 off of accumulation of the property value. So it was really less than that. The most humblest human, most approachable person ever. You know why they say he had bad politics? And I see it now. I didn't see it before because he was before my time. But I see it now in hindsight. They said Jimmy Carter had a greater presidency after being president. You know why he had a greater presidency? Because he was constrained by Israel. He couldn't do shit. He couldn't kiss the ring. He couldn't glaze the donut. So Jimmy Carter was just a God-fearing man amongst a bunch of heathens trying to run the country. We don't never get, I want y'all to understand this shit, man. It's just like a job. Picture a job. You come to your job on the first day. They taught you everything in training of what to do and what not to do. But as soon as you get into the job away from the trainers and you start seeing all these motherfuckers taking shortcuts and this, that, oh man, listen, man, you better go take that money. That man offering you what? Taking bribes. That shit is, it's only illegal when they get caught. They take all kind of bribes. That's how they make their money. They don't make money. Politicians don't. The way a politician makes money is what contract do you want to get passed, and now you go ahead and get me that money. We figure out how we can go ahead and get this money. That's how they do. They clean the money. There's money laundering. They clean the money. They washing money. Oh, you need this contract pass. You need this code. I remember the first time I seen a guy, right? There's a guy from South Florida. He won a lotto and he started a construction company. And then he ran for a political position. And then he started making sure that the contracts that get approved was his construction company. That's the first time I got the gist of, oh, this is how this shit work. It don't even have to. These days, people be more careful. It don't have to be your construction company. It would be your cousin construction company or whoever popping money that it don't directly come back to you. It's so obvious, man. But my point is, man, with all this corrupted politics, that's why people call Jimmy Carter a bad president, because he was a person trying to do it the right way. And we've been doing it the wrong way collectively. When I say we, I'm just talking about our leaders. Our leaders have been doing it the wrong way, that when you try to do it the right way, you look like you don't know what you're doing. So let's get back to the job point. If you was on the job, man, you did it the training way, the way that they teach you, the safety way, the OSHA approved way, standard way, and you taking forever, they say, hey man, what's going on? Why you dragging? Why you dragging? This is when you get on. Forget the training. This is your supervisors and all. Why you drag? These guys been done, but you doing everything the right way. You going up. You going with protocol procedure. But now you looking crazy because you refuse to take the shortcut, and that's the story of Jimmy Carter as president. That's why you have to not even in hindsight, you got to reevaluate Jimmy Carter, and you got to call Jimmy Carter the greatest U.S. president ever. The only one that did it by the book. The only one that did it by the book. So, the greatest ambassador of what you will want an American president to be. Having said that, moving forward, when I vote for presidents, my first thing I'm gonna want to know is, did you take APAC money? That's my first thing I want to know. And not even just presidents. This goes down to local politicians. I almost wanted to start. I said, man, I got one last run in me. Like I used to do a lot of protests. Oh my God, I did a lot of activism in my life. I did so much. I isolated and alienated myself from being able to sell out. Like nobody would really take me serious. And like if I said, man, I want to sell out, man, I want to be a sellout, they'd be like, hell no, boy, we've been watching you for years. You've been against us, you've been against this system. No way can we trust you or believe you. But the reality of it is, though, I went from the local level. Did you take foreign money? If you take foreign money, because clearly I've been saying we need to get corporations out of politics, period. Even domestically. See, this never was the case, and I sometimes sound like a radio or a broken record, emphasizing points that people don't know about, but I know it's always somebody new to the channel. Up into the 70s, Boston versus First Citizens Bank was the monumental case where the city of Boston sued because that was the first time a corporation ever donated to a campaign. And they was like, hey man, like, yo, wait a minute. You got corporations instead of people. A corporation is a LLC. That's a human being. Not a human being. A corporation is a person. See, a human being is me in this physical sense. But technically bots are persons, like little LLCs. So these corporations was working on behalf of special interests. And you start to realize, damn, Tom, John, and Will, they can put their little $20 together, that's 60. But this corporation is hundreds of people acting as one person, putting in thousands of dollars against their little $60. So they got to get their people in. And then they start to spread like a wildfire. And then our whole country was ran off of corporations. Corporations start saying, I want that guy to be president. So even when all us collectively, the 300 million, and it's 300 million people in this country, but let me see. I want to know, first of all, I want to see this. I wish I could get off this. Now, Chris, are you a real person? And shout out to your name being Chris. My name is Chris as well. All right, let's find some commonality real quick. I was immediately about to just put you in timeout and carry my point. I'm gonna remember that I'm speaking about corporations after I finish addressing you. But I just want to address you because I do think that I appreciate you chiming in. Right? You have a question. I want to make sure that you're not a bot before I answer the question. So, Chris, uh, oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that. So let's address a few questions real quick. I take it by your emoji that you're possibly a real person. It says, what's wrong with the blacks? Okay, you're as real as it gets. Okay, so let's talk about it. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? And then this will help with how I give the answer. How old are you, Chris? 31. Okay. So you're younger than me, but you're of age. This is my thing, right? You came up in the 2000s. I came up in the 90s, born in the 80s. So let's start off. Let me take this piece by piece real quick. What's wrong with the blacks? The same thing that's wrong with the whites. Whatever is wrong with the blacks is what's wrong with the whites. It's something that it's such a complex answer that the easiest answer is something simple. It's the opposite. So the second thing would be, are you just going to run your mouth? Well, my mouth doesn't have legs, but I will talk. So I can't run my mouth, but I will talk. Let's see. I'm in if you're trans. In order for me to be trans, I would have to have a pussy. And if I had pussy, I would probably have the baddest bitches you ever seen. Because nobody can get a more attractive woman than a gay woman. Gay woman get the top litter. The fine women that you see with heterosexual men, that's the one that the gay women turned down. So no, I'm not trans. Um, so now that we've gotten that straightened out, let's get back to this corporation thing real quick. These corporations was acting that on behalf as persons and controlling our politics. And so then the problem got even worse because we allowed corporations to do it. And then we start allowing foreign entities and lobbyists to do it. I don't even like the term lobbyist. Lobbyist just mean professional briber. I get to take this campaign money and I get to let's say I'm a construction company. No, hate to use a construction company, but let's say I'm Home Depot. And I'm pushing for new houses to be built. Well, shit, this is gonna directly help my business. So I'm going to this politician say, hey man, I got $100,000 for you right now. But when you get in there, you need to push for policies for homes to get built. That's fucking bribery. The only thing that make it so-called legal is Arthur Blank himself ain't the one coming to you, or the direct representative of Home Depot or Lowe's ain't coming to you. But if all the home improvements start giving you money through these lobbyists, that's fucking, I don't even like that term. So, that's really bad. And we start letting a foreign country give our politicians money, and then they got out of hand because that foreign country was so smart. I'm gonna tell you, they wasn't smart, but they did the smartest thing. They bribing our politicians with money that come from us. They reciprocating it. They tell these politicians to make policies that give us all of our money. Then they take that money, they break it down amongst each other, the leaders, not the regular people. They break it down amongst the top echelon and then upper brass, and then they trickleate that money back to our politicians and pay them off because our politicians are cheap as fuck. You start looking at this APAC donations, it's a lot because it's a lot of politicians, which is another thing. Maybe government is, I don't even want to say maybe government is too big. I've been saying that for too long. And now that I see what government is going toward, this tyrannical monarchy or authoritarian thing, maybe government isn't big enough. So let me back away from that. I've been saying that for some years because I was taught that in our American schools that the government was great when we were small. You used to have the Federalist Party. This is way back for you kids and you young men who just know Republicans and Democrats. We had parties of presidents that was from different parties. We used to have different parties. It wasn't just a two-party system. We had a Federalist Party. That was the name. And the government was small. And so it made it, under theory, you would call it more accountable. I can point the finger to who threw the rock. But when it's a bunch, I can't tell who threw the rock. So as these things start going on, I say all that to say, because I almost lost my point right now. Somebody said something silly, now she about to get up out of here. So let me get up out of here, because that's a fake profile. I know Chris was here. Hold on. All right, she's gone. Now, if you really love me, come back under another fake profile and help the algorithm if you really love me. Now, having said that, so we had these parties and whatnot, and I want to move away from saying that our government is too big. It's not big enough. And not only is it not big enough, we don't have, I'm not taking no APAC donations, no candidates that's APAC. So anybody that's foreign money, and they cheat. Oh, that was my last point, to say that they're cheap. The reason they're cheap is because when you look at how much they've mostly accepted, 2-3 million. Your country is worth selling out for $2 million. Now you ask the average American who's struggling due to these politicians, they'll say, hell yeah. But you think about these politicians are already supposed to be successful. It takes money to enter a race. You don't, which is another thing. Like, why do a person have to pay to declare their campaign? It's already setting up the elements that you have to have some kind of money in order. You can't just have love for thy country. You have to already declare yourself a candidate, even on a local level. Let's say I want to run for mayor or I want to run for commissioner. I have to put a certain amount of money in to run. That's crazy. Like, freedom of speech goes along with freedom of expression. If I express myself in my constituents or my neighbors in my community, and they like me and they say, hey, why don't you lead us with your ideas? To run for class president in school, you don't have to pay. When you first learn about American government in school and you run for school office, you don't have to pay. So why in the hell you get in the real world, which school is the real world, and all of a sudden you got to put money for it? Because it's already set. Like, look at Rick Scott. I'm gonna start bringing up politicians real quick because I've been so down this rabbit hole for so long. Rick Scott used to be a healthcare executive in Texas. That company got sued for fraud. Rick Scott, fucking rich as fuck. One of the richest people to ever run in the state of Florida. But he made all his money off of fraud. This he was going against, I remember, Jeff Green. And Jeff Green was stupid rich. All these guys out of Palm Beach, by the way. Damn. And I said, look at this shit. These guys spending they spending what a presidential race would have cost in the 90s. And this was in the 2000s. Just to be governor of Florida. Because, and for how, did you ever question why would a guy with $100 million try to run for a job that pays less than $1 million a year? What incentive does he have? because he understands that fucking power is gonna drive this money through the roof. You know what I could do when I get in power? It ain't about, oh, I'm just made it. I'm rich as shit. I just want to make everybody. The first time I heard that from a politician, and I don't know how sincere he was because he never got elected. But the first time I bought into that idea that a rich person can make the country better was when I first seen Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney he based his whole campaign off of, I did so well in the private sector. I think Donald Trump piggybacked off of Mitt Romney on that level because Mitt Romney came way before Trump. And Mitt Romney said, man, listen, I'm not a politician. I'm just a rich ass dude made all my money in the private sector. I ain't make my money in the main sector. I know how to get money. And so my mindset was like, okay, you could trust a person that knows how to get money. But what you don't think about is, and I'm gonna give you thoughts on player hating, but okay, I give you my thoughts on player hating in real time. My thoughts on player hating is, imagine a person with money who rich who look at me and say, man, let's hold him down. Let's suppress his algorithm. That's player hating. See, we gotta start using these terms that we use on each other, us common beings, and using it, understanding that the rich is player hating on us, the mass people. They don't want to see us drive the cars that they drive. Their money is only special because they're I seen, I'm gonna drop some game that I wasn't gonna never tell before, but I'm gonna say it. I seen a guy with the boule, right? This black boule. He said to a guy who was trying to join, another guy who was trying to join the black boule. He said, we can't let you in because he said if we just let everybody in, we wouldn't be exclusive. I said, oh shit, it was I had a Weebay moment. I'm like, oh, nothing is exclusive if everybody can be in it. So these rich people is player hating on us because they're like, I'm not finna let your peasant ass in. I can't call you a peasant no more. Hell, you might be able to you might be liked more by my friends than I am. If I let you amongst these people, I can't let you in these rooms. I gotta keep it exclusive. So that's my thoughts on player hating. They player hate us common people and do everything. Take our money though. That's the craziest part. It's one thing to set the rules and odds against me and all that stuff, but when you set policies that take our damn money and make it hard, and then you want to talk. Let's look at inflation real quick. They say, oh, inflation is back down to 3% or gonna rise and run. Man, listen, inflation has already rose. This is what's crazy. They keep resetting it. Think about life. It's so hard to think about life pre-COVID. But pre-COVID, a pound of ground beef was $5 fucking, $5 to $6. After COVID, this shit is 12 damn dollars. So if you telling me that, okay, we're gonna fix inflation and then you get beef down to $8, did you still not make a $3 profit? And then the whole notion of your deporting people, deporting. We're gonna talk a lot of this shit. As you're deporting, the concept of deporting, you would think is we're deporting so many people that the job market is supposed to be good. How the fuck do deporting make the job market bad? Are you deporting bosses? Employers? If you're deporting employers, you would think that it'll affect the job market because you're affecting the people that have the ability to employ. But if you deporting employees, workers, you would think the Americans that's still in the country have more job opportunity. So that's something that the math ain't mathing. Like, make it make sense. You're deporting people left and right, but the jobs is decreasing. So, and then let's cut in this. I recently learned what cutting interest rates does. First of all, we live in a sad world where the lady got her job threatened, and she didn't just get her job threatened. He was talking about firing this Jerome Powell guy. We never had heard of Jerome. Now, I'm not no apologist or sympathizer for the feds, but after doing my research and learning what their job is supposed to do, I understand that there's supposed to be an independent body because our politicians that I opened a statement with is compromised. If you left our money, if American money, the American dollar would have been tanked if you left it up to our politicians because their bosses who run them, which ain't the American people, was supposed to be, but their bosses who fat in their pockets would say, "Hey man, I need this, I need that." They would have been tanked us all. They don't know how to resist. They don't know how to say, man, how much butter can you get from the duck? Bitch, they gonna kill the duck. The duck gonna be over there deader than the bitch like the Aflac bird. Whack, Aflac, bitch, they gonna be dead. Because they try to get all the butter from the duck till it's nothing. Let this bitch reproduce. So, point is, the Fed is supposed to work independently and say, you know what? This is how the stock market crashed back in 1917 or 1919 or whatever. This is how a Great Recession in 2007 came about. Unregulated. It's like the substitute teacher. Everybody show out on the substitute teacher. Real teacher come, everybody got their head looking at the board, sitting in a chair. The real teacher don't play. Real teacher got authority over her class. Substitute teacher come, don't know what the hell going on. Oh, the kids, man, we supposed to be watching the movie today. I remember we used to say that. Man, we supposed to watch a movie. She probably we were gonna watch a movie. Man, I'm finna walk out then. And substitute teacher panicking. No, 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 no. Okay, let's put on the movie. Make their day easy and shit. So unregulated means that okay, nobody's watching what's going on. So they was just fucking up the money, effing up the money. Cutting interest rate. When you cut the interest rate, you basically are cutting down on the dollar value. And you're saying you're cutting down on the dollar's value because you're pumping more money into the system. And that's what before I make it really complicated, I'm gonna do it like this real quick. Just try to make it as simple as far as this what I'm speaking of with this. Fiat currency is just betting on air. We in the hood we call it betting on air. That's like I try to go make a bet with you and you show me $20. You throw $20 on the table. You say I'll bet you $20. Now you're assuming that I got $20. I don't. I'm only banking on the fact that I think I'm gonna win your $20. I'm gonna have to owe you. You're not gonna get nothing if I lose. That's fiat currency. Fiat currency is banking on, okay, we'll make it up later. We'll make it up later. Kicking the bucket down the road, kicking the bucket down the road, and keep losing. Every time you lose, the dollar value loses value. So when they say this amount on a dollar, this amount on a dollar, like if you was to buy something and you're taxed, we pay taxes, right? We pay sales taxes all throughout America. We pay property taxes, those who own property pay all this, right? If a sales tax is 7%, that's 7% on the dollars. That's 7 pennies on the dollar. That's the easiest way you can learn, especially if you're a cashier. If you're a cashier, I was a cashier for many years. Make me very good with money as far as counting and understanding percentages and all this. So 7% on a dollar, that'd be 7 pennies on a dollar. Our dollar used to be 100 pennies. Our dollar is, I don't even want to, I haven't even looked at it. I'm almost scared to look at what the dollar is actually worth now. But our dollar is worth like, I'm being generous. 62 cents on a dollar is spending power. So we've lost, 38 pennies. And we're still telling people that we got a dollar with these 62 cents. So that's why it seems like, damn, I can't afford this because the dollar has less spending power. So when you see these NFL contracts, before I'm taking it a little bit far, I hope I can find my way back, but I just want to make a quick point. When you see these crazy ass NBA contracts now, oh, he got 50 million, 60 million a year. That's because the dollar ain't shit. If the dollar was 100 pennies still, these guys would get, if let's put it like this, a player in the NBA making $50 million right now. If a player was making $40 million back in the 90s, that would be way more than his $50 million because our dollar had higher spending power. You were saying the numbers in your head, no, how could the 40 million be worth more than 50? because the dollar keep going down each year. That's why. That's why they paying these insane amount of money. Because 50 million in reality is 30 million. I'm not even just talking about with. I'm not even. If you was to do, because I'm not no mathematician, but if you was to take 38% of that 50 million, because that's how far the dollar down, like let's say 38 pennies, then you got to take 38% of this guy 50 million each year. And that's what the true value of that is what he's getting. That's not even counting taxes. It's gonna be less than that. But 38% off of whatever the dollar that's dropped. So back to these interest rates. Cut interest rates. It works for, like they say, credit cards. It's gonna be cheaper to get a credit card, cheaper to get a loan, this and that. But that's only because the bank trying to run the dividends of bonds. Banks got they got title holders too. When you buy bank bonds and stuff, they gotta pay these people back. They gotta make good on what they said they gonna pay. So the banks gotta then get their money up, their revenue up. They make money through different avenues and shit, charging fees and this and that, and a lot of fees, hitting fees, etc. But they key thing is, hey man, if you drop these interest rates, we'll give out more loans and try to get more people in debt and milk them slow. You know. So I saw that this. I started this conversation by simply saying, shout out to Emmanuel Macron for having the balls. I would never partake in any um what am I looking for? I would never partake in any rhetoric about you anymore, because lesson had to be learned that if you're a great world leader, or if you're doing the acts of a great world leader, I don't give a fuck who you have sex with. That ain't none of my business. Matter of fact, who if she wanna want me, if wanna want me, it's none of your business. That was an old I want to say Salt and Pepper song. I need to request that on the radio today. And she said, if she wanna take a guy, it's none of your business. We need that 90s music back. We need that 80s Bobby Brown, 90s Bobby Brown. It's my prerogative. That was the first big word I learned. My cousin was my female cousin. She was a huge Bobby Brown fan, and that was her funk. It's my prerogative. I do what I want to do. My prerogative. That is your prerogative. If you can run the country and stand up to these evil bastards that molest little, because at the end of the day, nothing worse than a grown up who want to have sex with little kids. There's nothing worse. So I know to separate the two and say, hey man, listen, who you got in your bed is who you got in your bed. Because at the end of the damn day, you're not the damn guys that's having sex with little kids and being blackmailed. So that's we standing on big business today. I'm gonna probably be podcasting throughout the day at different points. I was gonna commentate on the things I'm seeing on TV right now. I'm watching CBS in the morning, but I'll do that a little bit later. But we running the screen today. We feeling real good. It's a Friday. I'm blessed, and that's how we chopping it up, man. Let me catch me a little some information real quick. Then I get back with y'all a little bit later. Oh, let me say this too real quick before I finish this podcast. I'm gonna just give a little light to it. Matter of fact, I'll do that the next podcast.